Hi, my name is Albert Moote. I grew up in the Los Angeles area in a town called Palos Verdes Estates, just above the Los Angeles harbor. I was born there in the area in 1930, and I went to school in the area there. My profession was engineering, mechanical engineering, and I worked for a number of firms that tested products for the aircraft and aerospace industry, namely Wiley Labs, TRW, Cosmodyne Corporation, and Houston Fearless at one point. Well, of course, my generation was greatly fascinated by the opportunities and potentials of four-wheel drive vehicles, and I think it started in high school when we were going through World War II. Everybody wanted to own a Jeep. And it wasn't until after the war ended and a lot of them came back as surplus vehicles that some of my friends had acquired Jeeps, and we worked on them together to pound out the dents and get rid of the bullet holes and whatever and make them useful. And our primary use for them was to get into the back country for better access to more effective hunting areas. We were, at the time, able to get into areas that virtually all two-wheel drive type vehicles could not get into. And I was a little later getting into it than my friends. Subsequently, when I did it, I bought myself an M37 weapons carrier, which was the military version of the Dodge Power Wagon pickup truck of the era. And I preferred it because we could carry all the camping gear and a lot of guys and use it for a lot of things that you could not use a Jeep for. Well, I'm often asked why I kept it all those years. And the reason was this machine was built hell for stout, as we used to say. And I never saw any reason to get rid of it. It kept running and running and running. It was very reliable. I had, at one time, over 100 sacks of cement in the back with a small grand piano as well, and I have the photographs to prove it. The following home movies show a few examples of the many different ways that this old Travelall has been used and enjoyed over the last 50 years. At one time, I had a snowmobile, and it occurred to me one day that it would be easier to transport the snowmobile inside of my Travelall rather than use a trailer to tow it up to the winter recreation areas. The trick, of course, was how to get it into the back of the Travelall. What I did was I built a husky ramp with traction cleats that would rest on the tailgate and was long enough to allow an easy angle of approach. Then all I had to do was simply sit on the machine and drive it up into the Travelall. Simple enough, I suppose. But on the first try, I realized I had neglected to anchor the ramp, and it didn't go very well. My case in point. Okay, back to the drawing board. So this time, with the ramp securely anchored and my head ducked down, I once again attempted the impossible. The ride up and into the Travelall was a roaring success. The ramp was always transported on the roof of the Travelall to be used for loading and unloading at any destination. It all really worked out very well, if I do say so myself. Oh, I got memories in here that I can't even talk about. I'm afraid so. Some of them were experiences that we had that were close to disastrous, like a fire that broke out underneath one time when the emergency brake was left on. One time I was coming down a mountain grade and all the cars in front of me had stopped because there was an accident, and I swerved to avoid, and even though I was only going 5 miles an hour, I slid gracefully past everybody on the ice, waving as I went past car, past car, past car for nearly 75 yards before it came to a stop. And the only thing that kept me from going off the road was that there was a curb there. That was a scary moment because I didn't know what I was going to hit when I got up to the front end. Okay, folks, that's all I got. I sure hope you enjoyed it. I did.